Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. For this episode, we will be going in-depth into The Idol Season 1, now out on Max. We just did a review for Episode 5. Check it out if you haven't already. So spoilers ahead if you haven't finished the series. But Akram, this was a interesting show to watch. We had our qualms, but I think overall we were pretty satisfied. But tell me more of your in-depth thoughts.
Yes, it is a guilty pleasure show. Is it a good show? Not really, but I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's very sex influenced or sex positive, as some people would say. But I think in a way it kind of shows like a bravery by doing that. There's a lot of shows that are pretty sexual, like Outlander or something like that. But they twist a lot of, I think they make it sexy. Not classy, but sexy. And that's something that I haven't seen in a long time. Is it a good thing? It could have been if the story wasn't so inconsistent, but for the most part, again, I think the performances were, for the most part, again, pretty good. Some people were lackluster, but I really think that Lily-Rose Depp really shined in this too. I hate that people say that she isn't a great actress and stuff, because I really think she
owned it.
She
definitely owned it.
Yeah, I mean, to sing, to dance, to be like sexy and stuff, to actually cry like that. I think she really did a great job, and I think the Weeknd too. I don't think he's a bad actor.
Yeah, for sure. The show is definitely risque, right? I mean, but perhaps now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's to show how like hypersexualized Hollywood and like the music industry is now. Mm-hmm. Because if you notice it, a lot of artists are doing that now. Like everything is like sexualized now, even if it's not like intentional. Mm. But yeah, it is part of the reason that it's hard for me to kind of watch the show, because I feel like the sex stuff drags on a little too much. Mm-hmm. And then it takes away from the story, because the story is already kind of like not fully developed as I wish it was. There are certain episodes that are better than others. I think the last 2 episodes were definitely the best. Thank God, because it finished on a strong note. But it was a bit of a slow burn for me. From episodes 1 to 3. Yeah,
for sure. Again, each episode's really inconsistent. Character arcs are inconsistent. They didn't touch up on certain things that perhaps it's because they're leaving it for season 2, which I doubt will happen. I mean, you never know, but I really doubt it at this point. I think they were trying to tell a good, authentic tale, but it got lost, and so it felt very amateur at some points. Like the writing felt kind of amateur, the way how they were trying to approach it. Sometimes it did lack nuance, and it lacked nuance because of the inconsistencies, because you have to follow that shit all the way through,
for sure,
and they just didn't do that, and they came up short with that. Again, if you watch the show, I think it's safe to say you're watching it because of all the risque stuff, and I doubt that you actually would really care about the drama. It's just the sexiness, the Weeknd, if you're a fan of the Weeknd, all of that. I think they did a good job on that.
They tried to market it as this like toxic love story, right? That just happens to take place, centered around this big musical icon, right? I actually wish they would have delved more into like Jocelyn's past. Maybe perhaps they could have showed her being like a child star, the shit that she had to go through with her mom. I would have loved to see like some of the other, prodigies in Tedros' cult, how they got, into that, and how they started out with their talent. It could have been an interesting way to show how stars start out, right? Going from like this very innocent person with this great talent to where they are now, where it's like, they have to sell their soul basically to these big, producers and record labels, right? So I think that could have been a more interesting story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that they would probably save something like that for season 2, because now Tedros is a good guy, and so seeing him more reformed, and then you flash back to when Tedros met Isaac, and Tedros is really manipulative, and you see Tedros's bad side that you haven't seen from season 1, and then you also see the contrast where Tedros now is a good guy. I think that'll be a lot better maybe they could do that for season 2, but again, I doubt there will be a season 2. I think they had a problem because it was just really centering around Jocelyn and Tedros and not so much the business sometimes. It was just, there was a lot of deadlines to be met, and it felt like they wasted a lot of time just having fun. And perhaps that's in a way therapeutic. Maybe she needed that. But again, by the ending, she seemed like she was the one pulling the strings, and that didn't make any sense whatsoever. Because if we saw everything from the beginning, it felt like a complete waste of time. Why are you stringing this guy along if you already knew he's an asshole? Well, it felt like she figured it out after she had that convo with Diane, and then a time jump a little bit, and then now she's like a boss bitch. But then you left the comb, the hairbrush, and it's like, you bought that, you lied. So it's like inconsistent. Like, what the hell are you doing? Then you're just complete mad. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Unless she's just masochistic, or she's just, for the pleasure.
I'm just a freak. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe she just needed him to have that sexual experience for either for pleasure or for motivation. I don't know. It seems like she kind of made her art a little better at the end. She got what she wanted, and then she didn't want to have this corporate piece that they wanted her to put out, and then she got something that came from her own heart and her own soul, right? I mean, albeit it's still a little bit more sexualized, but at least it's something that she wants to produce, and not something that like Nikki, she didn't play it safe, is what I'm saying.
I think the show lacked more performances. Like, I think they could have done more of the concert stuff, honestly, because they're conveying her as this idol, this icon, the sex icon, and she does her job really well on camera, because I never seen anything like that before. So I felt like, why not show Tedros training her, and then she's applying that in some of these concerts, and we see that, and everyone's hanging around and stuff like that. I feel like you can still do that. I mean, and also it's a really short season, because only 5 episodes. You would imagine it'll be like 8 or 10. So probably there wouldn't be enough time for that. It just felt, and then also it took place so much in her mansion, and it just felt like when someone's in rehab and they're just trying to get well, and
yeah,
that's what it felt like. But that's not something really compelling. If you're starting off in a series, you have to do it a different way and actually show that the training's working. And without Tedros, because at the end she didn't even sing. I mean, we did get that performance in front of Andrew and all the crew,
right?
But
then it wasn't even her singing; it was like her lip syncing, to the song. It's like, I kind of wanted to see her. It's like, if you're gonna string me along for this whole series, it's like, why not show the performance? I mean, they showed clips during the credits of like the actors and behind the scenes and shit. But like, I would have actually liked to see like her in concert perform this, right? If you're gonna call it the Idol, at least treat us like we're actually the audience, right?
Sure.
At the performance, right? What has this been leading up to, right? And I wish they would have done more performance. I like when they did the practice performance, like the rehearsals, and her like doing multiple take. I thought that was cool, because it's entertaining. It's like you're actually there, like witnessing this, like behind the scenes, like you're the backstage crew witnessing this cool like performance, right? Even if it's like meta, right? Even if it doesn't exist, it's still something that, because everybody loves music. Right, music is this universal thing that everybody appreciates. So to see that, and see what the star went through, and see her like come out of her shell a bit, I think they could have went more in depth with it.
Well, the messed up part, the thing about that anyway, it's like at the end of the day, all she had was writer's block, because she doesn't need to become more of a star, because she was already acting like that since the beginning. She was already raunchy, and there was plenty of gossip on her. So she was just led by the corporate people, because they didn't trust her too much, because she had a lot of mental problems, as they were saying in the beginning. So if that's the case, you could have made this show completely different. You could have just show her getting better, or trying new things and reforming herself. Like, it would have been interesting to see, she was raunchy for this portion, but now she's trying to be more classy or something, and it gets really deep, Instead, she just dived into the rabbit hole. She just dived right in there once she met Tedros, and which she didn't need to. At the end of the day, she just did that just to have fun, it basically seemed like. So it's like, well, what's the point? Then there is no point. It's inconsistent. So really, it's just a display of sex and not bad music. And so I felt like that was just complete completely a waste of time. That's why I felt like amateur writing. And I don't know how much the Weeknd is involved. I'm pretty sure he's like heavily involved. Of course, that's like he had the idea too, along with Sam Levinson. But I really want. You could tell that the show was troubled since the beginning, since the director left. You could tell like they had a different direction. They were saying that they were supposed to do something that related to the female condition, and Jocelyn, it was supposed to be some sort of inspiring story, but it became something that didn't
Unless
matter.
this is the Weeknd's like way of soft opening his new album or
It
some
could be,
shit.
yeah. Yeah, it could be.
If that's the case, that's genius.
Well, what did you think of some of the characters' performances, though? Let's dive a little bit more into that, since that's the most apparent thing rather than the story itself.
I thought the cast wasn't bad. I liked Hank Azaria as Fahim. You know, it feels different. I mean, you know, we watched him in Hell Tomorrow, but here he feels like a different person. He's very protective and actually feels like he's a manager. Like he's actually been in the business for, and like that's why I love the showcase episode where him and Destiny are like actually appreciating the music, right? Because that's what I wanted more out of the show, was like some of the performances from some of the other, you know, supporting cast. Was like, I just wanted to hear that, like Isaac, the actor who plays Isaac, I think he has an amazing voice as well. Chloe as well, like, and even, you know, Troye Sivan and Xander, you know, he's a singer in real life, so it's cool to see him sing. But even then, I wanted more performances out of him too, because like, why are you gonna bring in a actual like idol, right, if you're not gonna have him sing in too many episodes? But actually, I think Destiny is like one of my favorite characters in the show. She's like the realest one. She feels the most to me like she actually cares about Jocelyn. That she's not like, because even Haim feels like he's kind of like making money off her. Like he cares, but like, you know, to a point where it's like you gotta meet deadlines and shit. Destiny feels like she's actually like her family to me. Like she actually wants her to be her best self, right? And she does that. And the reason I say that is because she also observes these other damaged people in Tedros' cult and tries to harbor their talent a bit, like with Chloe. That's why I say like she's like the realest one for me. Yeah,
she is. And Jocelyn needs somebody like her anyway. After her mother passed away, she could kind of be like a surrogate mother in some sense. Oh, I don't know, because how Jocelyn changed by the end of the episode, it seemed like she could have been Destiny's mother or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think everybody was really talented singing too. Everyone had great singing voices. We mentioned Chloe, Suzanna's son's character. I didn't know that she could sing so well and write songs and even play the piano. She did an amazing job. You know, I think the crew, Haim and Andrew, Destiny, Nikki her character was annoying, but Jane Addams played her character really great. You know, the whole crew, even Mitch was just a random guy at the side, but I loved his tattoos, which said "Life is War" or something.
Yeah,
so that was symbolic. I think everybody did a fine job, to be honest, with what limited stuff they had. Leia felt, I think Rachel Sennott played the character well, but the character was useless and annoying, and by the end of it, her leaving could be a cliffhanger for season 2.
I could have cared less.
Well, and they didn't do anything with that. They didn't even touch up on that. But her character was so like inconsistent, because she bangs Isaac, then she says Tedros is evil, and then she bangs him again, kisses him, drink. Jocelyn, don't, and leave somewhere. It's just so inconsistent. She's not helping whatsoever. She could be like a Destiny, but she didn't do shit, right? So I don't know. People walked all over her.
She's basically a cheerleader for Jocelyn. That's all she was.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she had like a makeup line or some shit. I was like, okay, so
yeah. So she's just useless, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the actress is great. I just think like her character didn't offer much in terms of characterization or plot. It didn't really go anywhere. So it's like by the end of it, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really care if we don't see her next season.
I don't either, although I think it'll be fun to see her maybe come back in a more adversarial role, perhaps. Like she has some tea on Jocelyn, because I feel like without Tedros being the main villain for season 2, they're probably gonna head for Diane, and Diane's gonna be the main villain, and she's going to have probably some new producer that she'll team up with, and they're going to try to top the charts and maybe even try to get some rights from that song, even though that song's like whatever, because there's so many songs you could get from there too. But I feel like it's gonna be a bad thing, because Diane has tea on Tedros as well, and now Tedros is a good guy, so it's like, oh, I'm gonna bring him down, and Jocelyn doesn't want that because Jocelyn in a way kind of wants to. I mean,
his career is already ruined technically because they put that article out. So it's like, what more could she say that they didn't really put out already?
But even that didn't matter because that's not even a career. It's just a guy that owns a disco. That's right. It. And like some idiots go there, and then Jocelyn sometime felt like bored and she went there. So his career by the end wasn't even that ruined. It's like there was some tea about this guy. Right. The reporter too. Okay, you're doing. Talia, yeah, I don't know if she was trying to be like bad faith with Jocelyn. Sometimes I don't know because sometimes probably it was just Jocelyn just saying all this shit and stuff happens. But by the end, she basically gets rid of that old article and gets straight into talking about Tedros. And it's like, so you wasted your time. Everybody wasted their time. Basically, there were even the antagonist Tedros was just a waste of time because by the end he was just a fool. He literally said in that sex scene, "Don't make me come over there and make myself a fool or make me a fool." He literally was a fool all this time then, if that's what they're trying to convey. So it's like the whole thing was a waste. It just was an experience to have fun, to search Lily-Rose Depp nude and like incognito window. Literally, that's it. And I feel like that's a shame because the actors deserve more than that, especially Lily-Rose Depp. And it's always funny to see actors like they're so like hyperbolic. Lily-Rose Depp said she didn't want something puritanical or whatever. I was like, okay, but this show's ass. So you just wasted your time.
I could nitpick. So like, I still love the first episode where she did the face stuff.
She's great.
The photo shoot. I do, like I said, like the one where she had to do the multiple takes, right? And then she got upset and she had like anxiety and shit. But like I said, I'm nitpicking, right? I think I agree with a lot of your point. I feel like it's very inconsistent. I feel like it for the most part, it's the saving grace of the show. It's only 5 episodes, so you can get through it like pretty quickly and be done with it, right? But like we said, it's a guilty pleasure show. It's like something like if you want to just turn your mind off, or if you want to just see some new girls or listen to music, right? It's like a vice show, right? Yeah. It feeds on your vices, but it's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily good either.
I'm disappointed at Sam Levinson because the Euphoria is a wonderful show because it is like a vice, but also it talks about vices. And so in that, I think they're also really authentic. The writing is beautifully written. There's like 2 short episodes that it's just monologues after monologues. So it should display how beautifully poignant the actual story is and also the writing. I mean, and to go from that to come into this, I mean, I'm sure he's going to put most of the blame on the Weeknd. And I heard some like weird rumors about him too. But for the most part, it's like, this was definitely a step down. I hope he's really working on Euphoria season 3 because I hope Euphoria season 3 will be good now after seeing
this. Unless it has something to do with the writer strikes or something.
What, this show?
Yeah.
I just really think, listen, you got a guy, The Weeknd. I don't really know. I heard some of his songs. I don't know like about his personal life. So I don't know if he's like a really bad guy or like people have like some tea on him. But for the most part, I feel like you just have this guy who wants to do a show and it kind of talks about the industry, but he also wants to make it seem kind of noir-esque with the music and some of the fashion, but also very 90s pop, and just mix those 2 things together and something sexy and just get people to talk about it. Right. And he has like a lot of cool songs in there too. So his albums are probably going to sell from there. And so who he's going to deal with? He's going to deal with Sam Levinson because Sam deals with Labyrinth that has amazing music for Euphoria. And he was looking for that type of aesthetic because sometimes Euphoria seems like a music video or certain shots. So like it felt like when they got together, here's the plan, but it's not fully fleshed out and it doesn't leave a lasting impact. But we just want to be talked about, hopefully in a good way, but it completely backfired. But I know the media is different these days, and I know now they actually thrive in things being backfired because it opens up something in the SEO, and now people want to be talking about and make money from this and that, right? Here we are reviewing The Idol and how shitty it was.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of Tedros memes out there, so maybe that's
the memes too,
the saving grace of this show. Maybe it's so bad that it's good in a way. Like that's what gets people talking about it, right? Yeah. But yeah, it could just be like one of those, cultural shows that people just go around talking about.
Mhm.
You know, they could have like a favorite episode they could, you know, relate to or something, or like you said, they could be like, they could stream the music right from the show. Because I'm not gonna lie, I do like
The music was
World Class
good.
Center. It is pretty catchy. I'm not gonna lie, I have it on my playlist.
Mhm.
So it's like, maybe it's something like, oh, you could make money off it from record labels too, right? Selling the music from it. But yeah, as a show, it's on the weaker side. Yeah, I do agree. Sam Levinson could have, you know, done a lot better than how he did Euphoria. But perhaps maybe if it gets green light for a season 2, they can kind of take those critiques that we're talking about now and kind of reform it a little bit, right?
Right. Yeah. Or unless this, like we were just talking about, unless this is like Bird Box. Bird Box was just made for the memes, and that's how they franchised or did something with it. And now they got Bird Box Barcelona or some shit like that. Unless that's what this is, and we're just all fools or something.
Rotten Tomatoes is gonna be like, I'm gonna take your ass down Rodeo. I'm gonna fucking curve stomp you.
that's what it was. I doubt the show's gonna come back. Honestly, I really do doubt it. I don't know if they would. They scrapped Batgirl. Why would they like do another season for this show? You know, I don't know.
No one knows.
What would
Who
you?
knows? But
Yeah. What would you rate this
if I
season?
had to rate this show, I forgot what I even rated it every episode. But you know, hearing all your points now and hearing my points, I'd probably still give it a 6 because I did enjoy it at the end. If it had been like a really shitty ending, then I probably would have said like it's a 3 out of 10. But I'd probably give it a 6. I did enjoy it for the most part. I think it's hypersexualized, but it has some nuance to it too, a little bit. And I did enjoy the musical aspects of it. So, and the actors' performance I thought were fine for me. But how about yourself?
5 episodes. I give it a 5 out of 10.
Fair enough.
I think that's fair, right?
5 out of 5.
Yeah. 5 out of 5. There you go. Well, everybody, this was a lovely experience. Hopefully for you guys seeing our reviews. We're doing really good in these reviews, so we're new to YouTube. We appreciate your patronage. Please drop a like and also check out our other videos, and if you can, also subscribe. We have a lot of reviews coming your way. As we always say, we appreciate you, and I'm just a freak. Yeah. No, I don't. It's so cringe what I just did.
They
I
clicked off
apologize.
just from you singing.
I apologize.
They unsubbed from you singing.
It was a different. I meant to do it a different way. Sorry. Well, the little stickers away.
Well, guys, hopefully you didn't unsub for that. But yeah, thank you for sticking around for our idol reviews. They're really fun to review, even if the show was pretty ass. But yeah, check out our other content. Like I said earlier, we wrapped up Silo from Apple TV Plus. That was another fun show we did. We just did The Bear on Hulu as well. So we have plenty of content, guys. Check us out. We're trying to do more nuanced shows. But if you have any shows that you're interested, let us know, and we could probably review it as well. But yeah, leave a like, sub, comment, anything helps the channel. But guys, until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.